It's safe to say that friendship is very important. In fact, nothing's really more important than your family and your friends. However, we're all imperfect and people let other people down. I'm sure that there's people in your life who've let you down, and more than likely you've let other people down as well. Not necessarily intentionally, but you're not perfect and neither is anyone else. However, there is one soul that will never let you down. And what is that soul? Well, it's referred to be as what they call man's best friend. And what is that? It's a dog. And we all love our dogs and our cats, and we all love our family pets. But there's a problem, because apparently the government are starting to question the reasoning behind us humans and our families having a pet live with us. They're talking about getting rid of pets. And in this video, we're going to find out exactly what's bloody going on.
Analyzing the news.
So today, we're going to talk about something that's starting to pop up in conversations and news stories around the world. It may sound a bit strange at first, but it's something that could seriously affect a lot of people in the future, including certainly me, you as well. The topic is the possibility of banning family pets. Now, I'm out with my dog at the moment, Harley. He's just over there. He's with his mum. He's hiding. He's playing. He's a dog. That's what dogs do. But let's have a look at this a little more closely. Now, before you get confused, no one is saying that pets are being banned tomorrow, but there are more and more discussions happening about how owning animals, especially cats and dogs, might not be allowed in the future. And the reasons behind it are actually quite serious. Let's start with the main reason. It's about animal rights and welfare. There are people and groups who believe that keeping animals as pets is unfair to them. They say that animals, just like people, have the right to live freely and not be owned or controlled. For example, they believe a dog should be running free in nature and not kept in a house or a backyard. The thing is, if an animal's just run free, a pet, it wouldn't survive. How could it? Because it's been conditioned to live in a family environment. It's not a wild animal. Our dog is completely dependent on us. If he suddenly got out of the garden, he'd get run over. This isn't bloody rocket science. Dogs need people to care for them, don't they? What do you think? Now, these groups argue that even if a pet is loved and well cared for, it still doesn't change the fact that they, as animals, are being kept in a way that's not natural for them. They compare it to how we feel about wild animals being kept in cages and zoos. To me, there's no difference. It doesn't bloody make any sense. So their argument is they shouldn't be in a house. They should be kept outside in nature. This is very concerning because we love our pets, don't we? We even name our pets. We give them our name. Our dog's called Harley, but we call him the baby because we treat him like a baby, because to us he's our baby. What's your dog's name? What's your pet's name? You have a name for it. You name it because it's your little baby. Another reason it's being talked about is the environment. There we go. Some studies show that pets, especially large dogs, have a bigger carbon footprint than you may think. From the meat that they can eat to the waste that they produce, it all adds up. And in fact, some reports have claimed that owning a big dog can be damaging to the environment. You can't compare driving a car to bloody walking a dog. That's ludicrous, isn't it? Now, I know it sounds hard to believe, but most of us think of our pets as part of the family. They give us love, comfort, and even help us with things like mental health. That's a big one. If you've got mental health and your mind's scattering everywhere and you can't think straight, if you get a dog and just stroke your dog, what it'll do, it'll calm you down and bring you into the present moment, which is perfect for mental health. Because when you're living in the present moment, there is no stress. Did you know that? Right now, there's no stress. Don't believe me? Close your eyes, relax, empty your mind. What problems have you got? None. All problems are in the future or in the past. They're never in the present. And a dog reminds us of that fact, because dogs don't look to the future or think about the past. They live in the present. That's why they get so excited every time they see you, because they live in the present. But let's get back to it, because people are pushing for this change and they say we will have to look at the bigger picture. They think our love for animals doesn't always mean what's best for the animals or for the planet. Let's look at an example. In some parts of the world, laws are already being introduced that limit how many pets one person can have. Look, he's dead happy. In certain cities, you need a license to have more than 1 or 2 dogs. In other places, there are restrictions on breeding pets because of concerns around overpopulation and animal suffering. Now, that kind of makes sense. If you're living in certain countries, you see a lot of wild dogs everywhere, and I get that. But in the UK, no, you don't see wild dogs just roaming the streets. And if you do, it's very, very rare. And within a small amount of time, that dog will be detected and picked up and took to the RSPCA. Some animal rights activists go further. They believe that in the future, we might reach a point where breeding pets is completely banned. That means no more puppies or kittens being born, or to be sold, which kind of makes sense, or given away as pets. Instead, they believe the only acceptable animals to live with people would be reduced or rescued dogs or adopted ones. And even that might only be for a limited time only. So in other words, if you're specifically looking for a breed like we did, we got a Rottweiler. He wasn't a rescue dog. We went to a breeder and then we bought him. But apparently in the future, you won't be able to do that. It's mental. Now, this doesn't mean that pets would suddenly disappear, but over time, the number of pets, animals, would slowly go down until eventually owning a pet might be seen as something from the past. Can you imagine that? And I know some people say that'll never happen, but they did lockdown. They locked down the whole planet, didn't they? And if they can do that, they can do anything. This idea is also linked to how we view animals in general. In today's world, more people are becoming aware of how animals are treated. Just look at how fast plant-based diets are growing, or how people are speaking out against animal testing and factory farming. The way we treat animals is changing, and pet ownership is starting to be included in that conversation. But there's a line you don't cross. It's a pet, for crying out loud. If anyone touched my dog, they'd be in big trouble. And I'm sure you feel the same way. Can you imagine someone taking away your pet? It's like taking away a child. It ain't happening, mate. Let's be clear though, this isn't about blaming pet owners. Most people love their pets and treat them with kindness. But the question that's being asked is love enough? Are we really doing what's best for the animal, or are we just doing what makes us feel good? I don't agree with that because our dog, and I imagine yours is as well, are very happy living with you. They love you, for crying out loud. Another thing to think about is what will happen if this kind of ban actually happens. How would people react? Many of us grow up with pets from childhood. And for some of us, pets are our best friend or even the only companion that we actually have. Taking that away could have a big emotional impact, and it certainly would. It could affect your mental health, and mental health experts would need to be involved in figuring out how people could cope with that kind of loss. It'd be absolutely traumatic, wouldn't it? On the flip side, animal supporters would say that this change would lead to a world where animals are no longer treated like property. They imagine a future where animals live freely in their natural environments without being bred, bought, or sold. So where does this leave us now? Well, it's important to stay informed at the moment. These are just ideas and conversations, but it shows us that the direction that some groups and lawmakers are thinking about in the future is not just about pets, it's about how we as humans interact with animals on every level. If changes were to come, they'd likely happen very slowly. They will probably be more rules, more restrictions, and more public discussions. We might see stricter laws around breeding, more support for adoption, or even changes in how pets are allowed to be kept at the home. One thing is for sure, that this conversation is certainly growing and it's not going away anytime soon. So what can we do? Well, first, we can learn as much as possible about this issue. We can also make sure that our pets live the best life that they possibly can. Lots of love, good food, exercise, and attention. And if this topic matters to you, speak up about it. Join the conversation. It's only by talking about it that we're going to shape the future in the way that works both best for you and the animals. If we don't stand up, people will stand on us. Now, at the end of the day, pets have brought so much joy into our lives, but now we're being asked to think about their lives too. And that's not a bad thing. It's just a sign that the world is constantly changing and we need to be ready to change with it. Now, I know I'm the bearer of bad news, but that doesn't mean that I believe that animals should be banned as pets. In my opinion, they certainly shouldn't. I absolutely adore our baby. He has such a positive impact on my life, my kids' life, and my wife's life. He's part of the family. Look at him, he's so cute, isn't he? And your pets will be exactly the same. They adore you, they love you, they love being part of the family. And they don't have any rights because they can't speak. They haven't got the right to speak because they can't communicate. If I could speak to Harley and said, Harley, do you not want to live with us anymore? I know what he'd say. Of course he wants to live with us. He's happy. His little tail's waggling every 5 minutes. But the problem is the world's a bit weird at the moment. And when I say weird, they can argue anything out, can't they? And they can justify anything. Eventually they'll ban water. And if you think, oh God, that's going a little bit too far. But the truth is, if you look into it, there's certain people in power who are adamant that water shouldn't be free. And that's mental. But that's the way of the world. Let me rephrase that. It's not the way of the world. It's the way that certain people who rule the world think. Don't lie down. No one can jump on your back if you're standing up straight. Protect your animals, protect your pets, because if this did ever happen, and again, they're having conversations about it, if you don't try and stop it, then the ban of pets is inevitable.